Finally, after almost 2 years of back and forth, Microsoft's $69 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard King was finally approved. I know a lot of you guys out there are sick and tired of hearing about it, but luckily the deal is done and we shouldn't hear any more about it from here on out. But in this video I want to talk about some of the implications of that deal and explore what exactly we could now see in the gaming landscape moving forward. If you guys enjoyed the video or just like gaming news in general, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe. I cover a variety of different genres, so there's sure to be something that I cover that'll pique your interest. So what might we see here in the immediate future? Well, it turns out not very much. Microsoft is in no rush to port games from the Activision Blizzard library onto Game Pass, and we should expect to see a longer wait for newer titles like Modern Warfare 3 or Diablo 4, especially since they've stated that they will come to the service, but not until sometime in the future. The only timeline that Microsoft gave was over a couple of months for some of the older titles, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see about everything else. However, one immediate thing that we did see, and you could argue that this was in Blizzard's game plan before the acquisition, but nevertheless, Diablo 4 has made its way to Steam. We already kind of knew that more Blizzard games were going to make it over to the platform, especially after Overwatch 2 launched there earlier this year. However, for some people, Diablo 4 was a surprise, and for me now, I personally wish I held off on buying it, as I would have totally rather had that in my Steam library than on Battle.net. All we can do now is just hold out hope that the rest of the Battle.net library makes its way onto Steam. I'm personally hoping for Diablo 2 Resurrected next. Shifting over to something brand new is that Call of Duty will be making its return back to Nintendo. This is something we obviously haven't seen in a very long time, with the last Call of Duty actually being Ghosts on the Wii U. I don't know how many people played that, but I can't imagine it was too many. And I also don't expect Modern Warfare 3, the new one, to appear on the Switch, but it's likely that we'll see Call of Duty 2024, or whatever the Call of Duty is next year, having a higher chance of making it instead. This is said to be a fully feature-packed game, so don't expect a mobile Call of Duty on the Switch, at least not for right now anyways. It'll be interesting to see how they tackle optimizing the game for a platform like the Switch. But piggybacking off of that, for all of my Quest users out there, you all will soon get access to the entire library of Xbox Game Pass Cloud. This opens the possibility to play hundreds of games otherwise not possible without an Xbox or PC, and it's said that it'll go live sometime in December, as it was a key part in advertising the newly released Quest 3. If any of you guys out there have picked up the Quest 3, definitely leave a comment down below and let me know how you like it. I'm personally really curious. I've been researching on my end a little bit more, so definitely let me know. But even more so on the cloud gaming side of things, and honestly a bit of news that I think slipped off a lot of people's radar, is that now that the deal is through, Ubisoft owns the cloud streaming rights to Call of Duty and all other current Activision Blizzard games. Meaning that if you want to play these games, and this is strictly for cloud streaming, you're stuck doing it through Ubisoft. I would say it's likely that these games will make their way onto Game Pass eventually, as I'm sure Microsoft wouldn't want to pass that up, but since legally now they have to pay a fee to Ubisoft to license the games for Game Pass Cloud, you might have to wait a little bit longer after the launch of some of these games in order to play them through Game Pass Cloud. Of course, if you're not one that uses a lot of cloud gaming or streaming of any sort, this probably won't mean a lot for you. But for those of you that do use the service, it's definitely something that you should keep in mind. Lastly, before the video ends, I want to touch on how this affects gaming as a whole. From a Blizzard side of things, I'm happy to hear that Bobby Kotick is on the way out. Hopefully new leadership will breathe life into a company that I know many of you out there have loved for a long time. From a PlayStation side of things, it's likely business as usual. I personally would expect Sony to look to buy up some additional studios, but after the money pit that Microsoft put themselves into with the Bethesda acquisition and now this one, I bet those studios they look to purchase will likely be on the smaller side. But for everybody else, even if you're not an Xbox fan, you have to respect their new desire to list games on whatever platform you like to play on. As a PC gamer first, I also respect that PlayStation is starting to bring games over to PC as well, but it's usually not for at least a year after the game's release. Having said that though, it's a great time for gaming with so many fantastic games that have already released this year and many more still on the way. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor and hit that like button, and until the next one, I'll catch you guys all later.